Hey everyone, RC Red Baron here. Today I'm very excited to bring you the Hobby Lobby EuroFighter 360-degree twin thrust vectoring EDF jet. This puppy is absolutely gorgeous. Now I've already cheated and I've opened the box and taken a look at it because as soon as it arrived I just could not wait. I've been looking at the EuroFighters from different manufacturers, and I gotta tell you, this one I just could not wait for. This thing features, it's about 38 inches in wingspan, it's 55 inches in length. It does run off a 90mm EDF motor, so it's a single EDF, but it has twin thrust vectorings nozzles out the back. The specs on it does say that it's a 79 ounces of flying weight, and according to the specs, the motor should be able to provide 84.5 ounces of thrust. So that provides us a little better than 1-to-1 ratio, which means she should be able to fly quite nicely. Now she does feature retracts, she has working canards, she also features nav lights, and I'm going to be finding out where all of those are located. From the basic looking, looked like the wiring was all inside there. So all in all, this thing really looks exciting to get to build. So we're going to get on with it and show you just a couple of quick things on how to get it built, and then in another video we'll get her in the sky, and I'm very excited to find out if she flies and how she flies and just how much fun I'm going to have with this thing. So stay tuned. Alright, so before I get started building, I just wanted to show you the plane all laid out. I got all the parts taken out. I just want to show and remind also that this is an elevon flying system. So there is no elevator or aileron. It's actually combined into one. So you basically have one wing surface, and it's actually a very nice wing surface. But this primary aileron, which is what you normally see it as, an aileron being on the wing, it also acts as your elevator. So it's called an elevon system. So this is going to actually make the build a lot quicker and a lot simpler, since I only got to worry about one of these. Now it does also include canards. So when those go on the front of the plane, we also get more surface here for our elevators and our ailerons to allow the plane a lot more maneuverability. Alright, so we got everything all laid out. It's not a whole lot, so this build should go fairly simple. I imagine most of my time will be spent programming the ESC and the remote control for it, because there's a lot of different mixes you got to do for the ailerons, elevators, elevons, and also your canards with your thrust vectoring. Okay, so I've laid my two-part epoxy. It's a 5-minute epoxy along the whole wing line. I've lined it up across the top as smooth as I possibly can. Now I'm just going to leave it up this way to let it dry and cure, and then I can go ahead and start connecting my wires, and then I'll flip it and do the other wing as well. And there we go. Wires are nice and tight. So now before I flip this over, there's one other step. They provide you with some carbon fiber rods, and these actually fit inside the wing and going into the fuselage. You can actually see the slot here. You want to slide that in like so. So I'm going to go ahead and get that installed before I continue on. So now the next step is to go ahead and get the retracts installed for the mains. Now the nose gear is already pre-installed here, so I don't have to worry about that one. It's just the primary mains. And we'll get that installed and move on. Okay, I'm ready to install this retract here, and I've positioned it in the wing, and I'm making some minor adjustments to make sure it slides nice and smoothly here before I bolt it down. Now, before I put the gear into the wing, I went ahead and I slid the servo arm here onto the rod that goes to the retract. Now I'm not going to put this servo arm into the servo just yet, because I need to determine which direction and what position that I need this arm to be on the servo when I power the system up. So for now, I've just put it on and I've tightened it down so that I don't lose it, and I will just leave it there until I'm ready to power the system up. Then I can go in and make my final adjustments onto the servo there. Alright, so now we got the wings on, the gear installed. We're ready to move on to the vertical stabilizer. Now this jet does not come with a working rudder. It's clearly marked, so you could probably really easily modify this and put a rudder on this plane. But with the 360-degree thrust vectoring, I'm sure that's what they're counting on to help with that kind of maneuvering. It could be a modification later on down the road I could see doing, but for right now we're going to just build it stock and fly it. So it's basically, you've got a wire coming out through the bottom. This is for your LED light that's on the back of the vertical stabilizer. So make sure you get that connected, following black to black, red to red, and just kind of drop that inside this groove. Do a pre-fit. You can see where she's going to be aligning, and then we'll go ahead and get that glued down and move on. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get the nose cone installed. The inside of the nose cone has a small notch in it, and it lines up with the notch on the front of the fuselage, and we're just going to dry fit. And you can see that just puts right on there, so we're going to go ahead and get that glued and move on. Okay, as you can see, we got the canards installed, and the rods come up and through and inside to here. Now what we got to do is connect these rods to these servos, one for each, and that's going to be the fun part. Okay, so you're going to want to do a little bit of prep work before you start installing. Number one, this is the control rod here, and it actually angles down. So it's going to, once you install this on the canard rod, it wants to hang down. And then your servo arm is going to be on the inside. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and attached the servo arm with the, it's already got a quick connect connected to it, tightened it down a little bit just so it doesn't slide off. And this will make it a lot easier to work with. So now I'm going to get this installed here, bolt it down, and then once I apply power, then I'll attach the servo arm to the servo again, making sure the servo is centered. It's very important that you wait on that step before you go jumping to it. Alright, and there we have it. The Hobby Lobby EuroFighter 360-degree thrust vectoring 90mm EDF jet. The assembly is all complete. I'm going to go out front and take a couple little test taxi and just see how she performs on the ground, so I can make sure I got all my trims for my steering correct, and just basically play with it for a little while until I get to the field. But stay tuned, because the next video after this one will be the actual maiden flight of this jet.